Hey guys, and thanks for joining me today. January's about halfway through, but where I'm at, it seems like it's almost spring. So why don't we take a moment and do a first impressions review of Nemesis. Alright, so this is a new format for me. By the time I get done playing games enough to do a full, in-depth review, nobody cares anymore. It's been like a year. So, I'm going to start doing a first impressions kind of hot take review. I'm going to play the game and then give you guys my opinion. So, I have now played Nemesis, played through a whole game, and I won. Well, sort of. See, Nemesis is full of theme. Nemesis's largest selling point, I believe, is its theme. Its theme of like the horror, sci-fi, aliens askew, kind of genre, or that sort of IP, right? And that's great, except the theme falls apart quite often. Now, what do I mean by that? What do I mean by that? So, there are tons of cool set pieces that might possibly happen. You could maybe be infected and have a, alien burst out of your chest and then you die. And then a little alien miniature even goes where your spot was. And so that kind of stuff's cool. However, there's other problems with it, like how fire works. So, in this game, fire only spreads if an event says it does, otherwise it just kind of stays put, which is fine. However, you can move through fire just fine, it does not affect you. You can use the room while it's on fire, you can interact with a computer or do something like that. But if you stop while it's on fire, then you're hurt. And that seems kind of odd. See, how the turn orders work is you're doing as many turns as you can, and then when you can't do any more turns because you've run out of cards to really do them, because you have to pay cards to make your turns, then the aliens happen and events happen and then you get damage and all that. So as long as you could enter a room, exit it, come back, do something, exit it again, come back, end your turn there. That might be a few too many turns, but either way, you come back there and then suddenly you're hurt. But it didn't happen at any other time. And that's really odd to me and different than most any other game. In fact, it's to the point where at the end of the game, we could have gone to the hyperbolic chamber or the cryo chamber or whatever puts you to sleep so you can, jump to Earth or wherever. And that room was on fire, but that wouldn't stop us from doing that, which doesn't make a lot of sense. Now, the reason I said I kind of sort of won is because I had a quest or an objective where I had to destroy the ship and I had to send the signal. I'd already sent the signal. I just had to destroy the ship. My buddy that was also playing, his objective was to get the ship to Earth. Now, you'd think those would be conflicting, but they're not. Because here's the point. I started the timer, the lockdown, so the ship's gonna explode, and I got it past the point where you cannot turn it off in the game. There's a certain amount of turns, and then it's just gonna go. Then, we had the engines working, we had it set to Earth, so he simply sent it to Earth, and then we went to sleep. So what does that do? Well, first of all, it means it went to Earth, I'm assuming, and then blew up, I'm assuming. So we both won. Or did we? I don't know. You tell me in the comments below, did I win the game, yes or no? The reason I want to know in the comments is because the rulebook isn't going to tell you. The rulebook has no mention of this kind at all. It has a tiny little blurb about the objectives, and then such loose and obtuse objectives that just kind of don't work. And that's kind of the problem. Not only that, but the objectives you get are random. And so it might work for you or might not. There could be a person that is at a distinct advantage than you. For instance, one of his objectives, he didn't want to play this way, was to make sure that I died. Okay? Now he randomly, again, chose the captain who can order people to go to other rooms. And in fact, there's a point where he can order somebody to go into any room over the intercoms in the ship. He doesn't have to see you, it doesn't matter. He can just say, hey, go to that room. So the queen spawns, he can just be like, hey, go to that room. And then I'm attacked. So it's distinctly easier for him to do that objective than maybe a mechanic that had to do that or something like that. Okay, just because he has more options available, it's just statistically easier for him to do so. Now, that's another big problem, is that randomness. This game is one of the most random games I've ever played, to the point where I would have rather us all rolled die, said whoever rolled highest won the game, and then went and played Conan. That would have been a better use of my time. Because you randomly pick a character, you don't get to choose. You randomly pick an objective. You randomly pick the layout of the ship. You randomly, and make noise. You randomly do damage with no dice mitigation almost at all. Most people have none. Some people might have a little bit.
Everything in this game is random. Even the enemies that you fight have random health. Random health to the point where at one turn, the queen might have 5 health, which is lower than some adults can have. And yet at the other time, she might have 12, because you just randomly pick cards. That's the health she has that turn. It could move, it could ebb and flow. It just doesn't make any sense. Speaking of not making any sense, the noise markers. Now, that's another theme-breaking thing here. So, you randomly make noise in some random hall. It didn't even have to be the one you came through. Unless you carefully move, then you get to pick. So you move to a room, you roll some dice, whatever random number pops in there, that's where the noise goes. Doesn't make any sense if it's in the complete other opposite end of the room or not. Not only does that noise do that, but the noise never goes away. Now, I don't know what you did to create noise to where it doesn't leave, but eventually the whole ship's just full of noise. Okay, so there's this noise everywhere. Which, again, if there's noise everywhere, they aren't drawn to noise. It doesn't matter if there's, 4 people in a room or not, and they're surrounded by noise, whereas one room has just 2 noise markers. If somebody moves there and doubles the noise, there's an alien there. It doesn't make any sense. It ruins the theme. Because you can't logically comprehend why noise just stays there. Why it's like the whole, and in fact, if the whole ship's noisy, then where do they know where you're going? It doesn't matter, right? Oh, there's noise there, but there's still noise over there from when you turned on turn 2. It just doesn't make any sense. So you randomly pick everything. The enemy's health is random. Your health is random. If you die, it's sometimes random. You can just have a card that's like, oh, guess what? Everybody's dead. It really sucks that you have no control over this game. If you win this game, it's not because of you or really your actions. To a large degree, you just got lucky. And that's not fun to do. Let's see, what else is there? Oh, so not only do you randomly get to pick a character, you get to pick 2 and you pick the one you want. That's it. You don't get a choice. Beyond that. It's like, again, it's like offering options to a toddler. Hey, do you want this one or this one? Those are your options. Doesn't matter if you like them or not. Additionally, all the characters aren't even all that different. So the aliens, by the way, only have 8 different attacks. That's it. And in fact, a lot of those attacks are single cards, which means for the most part, it's just repeating. I once escaped from a room that had 3 enemies, and they did the exact same thing to me. They all bit me. It's just, what does that one do? Bite. What does that one do? Bite. What does that one do? Bite. That's boring. That's stupid. May as well just say, hey, when you leave, that bites it. I mean, it's not enough variation. The heroes that you get, all the heroes are the same except for their cards and their starting weapons. Now, their cards are almost all the same except for 4 cards. So that's it. You have 4 actions that you can do that nobody else can do. Otherwise, you're doing the exact same stuff as everyone else. Your starting weapons, so we all had different weapons. We played the soldier, the mechanic, the captain. They're all the same. What I mean by that is, they might have different ammo, or there might be a slight variation, but they all act the same. They don't act any different. So my gun did a +1 if I did any injury, whereas my wife's gun did a +1 if she rolled a 1 or a 2. And then my buddy's gun did a +1 if he rolled just the 2. So one's significantly better than the other, kind of almost in the reverse order there, but it's the same thing. It's the same mechanic. There's no interesting part of that. There's no one that auto reloads or does anything like that. Now, eventually I could get some stuff that did that, but that's only eventually, and in fact that never even happened. It just is so disappointing that the game is full of just randomly doing things with random HP and random enemies and random noise with my random character and my random objective on a random map where I randomly roll with no dice mitigation. With a theme that is only half plastered onto this game, where some of the mechanics make sense and it's kind of cool, but then others make 0 sense and completely ruin the theme. It's hard to find any redeeming qualities of this game. It is my first Kickstarter disappointment, and the only thing I'm doing now is looking forward to getting Wave 2, so I can try that out, and then sell it. I have tons of shelf space I need for games that I want to play, that are interesting, that make me think, that give me a sense of satisfaction when I do good in them, and not just luck of the draw after luck of the draw after luck of the draw. If I'm missing something from this, let me know. If you're like, no, this game's amazing and here's why, I would love to hear. It can't be the theme because it's only half there. It can't be the strategy point of it because there isn't a lot, especially because there's a character that can just order me to do whatever the heck he wants to do.
I just don't get it. I don't know. I don't understand what people see in this game. Nemesis for me is a sinker. It sucks. And I'm probably never going to play it again. But enough of that. Thanks guys for watching. Later on this month, I'm probably going to be getting hate, and I'm looking forward to that. So hopefully that doesn't disappoint me as well. But if it does, you'll be the first to know. And subscribe if you haven't before. Thanks to all my patrons for helping me out. You guys rock and are awesome and make this what it is today and what it will continue to grow and be in the future. So thank you for that, and I'll talk to you soon.